Hello again to all subscribers and listeners of this channel. I know it's been a while, but I'm trying to get back into uploading, so bear with me. But today, I want to present a list of 12 questions or 12 challenges that may even weaken certain ideas that are accepted by mainstream cosmology, mostly cosmology, astronomy, to a certain lesser extent, physics, quantum mechanics, and geology, and many other fields of modern science. Why am I presenting these 12 challenges? Because quite frankly, too much of mainstream science is arrogantly pushing certain ideas as fact, when in reality these ideas have not been proven to be accurate. What we call science in the modern age needs a severe revamping of what is fact versus what is hypothesis, what is correct versus what is just opinion or educated guess. And if we don't have this revamping soon, otherwise today's science becomes more and more like a religion instead of being a system of learning. And without further ado, let us begin. One, has anyone ever captured an image of an actual supernova? We've had supernovas explained to us. We understand based on what we were told what they're supposed to be, but are they really the process of a star going through its death process? Now, in the link in the description, I'm going to put some info about the so-called zombie star, which when they discovered it a few years ago, it disturbingly and greatly challenged the idea of what a supernova is supposed to be. And because of that, you have to go ahead and ask yourself the question again. What actually is a supernova? And what are these images that supposedly caught on telescopic camera of a star dying? But then in this particular case, the star died, dimmed down, then got bright again, dimmed down, got bright again, dimmed down. It went through this weird sequence of like almost looking like it's about to die out, then coming back over and over again. This very bizarre zombie star thing. But yeah, completely dismantled the idea of what a supernova is supposed to be and how a supernova is supposed to behave. Question 2. Where did Earth's water come from? To this day, no one knows exactly where our planet got all its water from. So many hypotheses rely on only a few observations, like the ones done on so-called heavy water, whereas others come from complete and utter nonsense like the comet ice theory or the asteroid ice theory, both of which are absolutely absurd for a myriad of reasons that I won't go into here, but I will go into in another video. But again, can modern mainstream science explain where Earth's oceans, seas, lakes, ponds, rivers, streams, aquifers, atmosphere, and ice caps got their water from? Question 3. Why is Earth the only planet with water on its surface in such a large amount in the entire solar system? Why didn't the other planets ever develop oceans or gigantic ice deserts? Mars has ice caps and that's about it. Why doesn't Venus have more oxygen and hydrogen in its atmosphere? Why don't we have more ice on Ceres, Jupiter's moons, Saturn's moons, etc.? They should have gigantic ice deserts all over the surface, but they don't seem to, which is odd. In fact, why don't we have more ice in water-rich atmospheres throughout the entire solar system as a whole? Earth should not be the only planet in our solar system with such a rich supply of H2O. There should be a lot more of it throughout the entirety of our solar system, whether it be in a gaseous state, liquid state, or frozen. Question 4. Why are the planets tilted at the degrees that they are? Can someone please explain how something as massive as Earth or Mars can be tilted? Or even more extreme, someone find a way to explain the tilt of Venus and Uranus, and why Pluto and a few other objects have such a steeply inclined orbit of the sun. And these are the actual measurements. Mercury is tilted at 0 degrees. Venus is tilted at 177.3 degrees, almost a complete 180 compared to the other planets. Earth is tilted at about 23.26 degrees. Mars is tilted at about 25.2 degrees. Jupiter is tilted at about 3.13 degrees. Saturn is tilted at about 26.73 degrees. Uranus, another weird one, is tilted at about 97.8 degrees, so it's like a full quarter in the other direction. Neptune is tilted at 28.32 degrees. And Pluto, another weird one, is tilted at about 120 degrees. But to this day, no one has found a reason for the tilted angle for all of our planets. Question 5. What created the asteroid belt? Has there ever been an attempt at figuring out what created the asteroid belt? And where do these objects come from? And why are there so many objects in the asteroid belt? If there have been, someone go ahead and let me know, but I haven't found anything that's really convincing as to explaining where the asteroid belt came from and how it came to be in existence in the first place. Also, why is the asteroid belt situated where it is between Mars and Jupiter? That's another weird thing that's never been explained. Question 6. Exactly what is gravity and how does gravity actually work? What is it and how does it actually operate on all objects? Is it true that gravity is constant and is not variable within environments? Is gravity a push, a pull, or a pressure? And is the gravitational effect or the effect of gravity positively correlated with the object's size or mass? Because we know the gravity, or assume the gravity of our planet here in our solar system. We don't necessarily know what gravity will be like in another solar system and another star system many light years away from us. So, I want to go back and reiterate. Is it true that gravity would be a constant on all objects, or can it change depending on environment? That's what I meant. But there's some things about gravity that to this day don't seem very well explained. Question 7. Why don't we have any photographs of an actual accretion disk? Accretion disks have been used to explain the creation of stars, but there are problems with this model for star formation. Problem A. The first problem with this model is the fact that it's only a model. It's not an observation, it's not a measurement, and it's not an experiment conducted in a lab with repeated and or repeatable results. Problem B. They have never found or produced a photograph or film of an actual accretion disk actually forming somewhere in the universe, slowly becoming a star. Problem C. It's passed off as settled science despite having nothing physical reinforcing its existence. So that's a big problem with the whole accretion disk model. And that's another thing I'm going to get into in a separate video in the future, so stay tuned for that. Question 8. Why are there no photographs of actual black holes, wormholes, or neutron stars? Same problem with the accretion disk. For any type of observation to be true science, there needs to be, in observation obviously, there needs to be measurements, experiments, objective data, repeatable results in experiments, or results that you get from experiments that can be repeated over and over, photographs, film, etc. You need all these things in order to prove the existence of objects or phenomenon. And when it comes to the neutron star, the wormhole, the black hole, the accretion disk, they don't have any of these, which is really problematic when you're supposed to be using science to relate to people and learn about objective reality. But again, big problem, very big problem. Question 9. Why is there no actual photograph, film, or experiment demonstrating nuclear fusion? And this is another major thing I'm going to get into in the near future, because this has been a real ugly thing the more I look at it in terms of fusion reactors being a gigantic government money sink. Nuclear fusion is supposed to be the way stars produce energy, but by scientists' own admission, they can't actually see nuclear fusion. It can't actually be observed because, according to them, it's happening inside the star's body. So conveniently can't be observed by any other type of scientific instrument or however else they would actually try to see that. And as far as I know, no one's been able to produce any experiments actually replicating nuclear fusion on a smaller scale. They claim they have, but I'm skeptical. Very skeptical. So, question 10. where did the moons of all the planets come from in our solar system? Where did each planet get its moon? And where did Saturn and Jupiter get their moons from? And why do they both have so many? Now, if I remember correctly, Jupiter and Saturn have more than 60 moons each. Yet no one seems to have come up with a good enough explanation as to where all these moons came from. People talk about where did Earth get its moon? How about you explain where all the moons came from? Because again, 60 plus each for Jupiter and Saturn. That's never been explained as far as I know. And if anyone does have an explanation, go ahead and link to it or put it in the comment section below. I would love to see that. Number 11, or question 11. If stars form from an accretion disk, then explain this to me. How do you get binary star systems? Someone explain where you get binary star systems from. Let me break this down, because this is a very big deal, especially when it comes to the electric universe hypothesis. According to the accretion disk model, a disk of gas and dust compresses down into a sphere under a gravitational force. Where the gravity comes from, they don't say. Now, the sphere becomes the central star, and the remnants of the disk coalesce into planets and possibly even moons and asteroids in the outer edges. Now, if this is the case, then please explain the hundreds of binary systems that we've discovered in the past decade or so. Hundreds of binary systems, as in binary star systems, as in there's two or more stars in the same solar system, which have similar densities, sometimes similar masses, sometimes they have put out the same amount or similar frequencies of energy radiation. And that doesn't make sense with the accretion model. Along with another observation that was made even more recently. There are gas giants like Jupiter that are incredibly close to their host star. As in, there are stars similar to our sun that have a gas giant similar to Jupiter, but the gas giant's orbit is smaller than Mercury's orbit is around our sun. Again, according to the accretion disk model, that should not happen. A gas giant planet should not be that close to a star if the arms of the accretion disk are going to spread the less dense material outside and keep the densest material on the center of the solar system as it's forming in the star itself. So you got something super large and super dense like a gas giant pretty much right up against the star that's orbiting. That just, again, this is just another example of new information that's dismantling and destroying a lot of these outdated mainstream scientific ideas. But yeah, that doesn't fit the accretion disk model at all. If somebody can explain that, I'll gladly oblige that you explain it somehow in a response video or in the comment section, whatever it takes. And number 12, the final question. Finally, if there really was a Big Bang and the universe is expanding, why is there no unified pieces of evidence showing the actual expansion of the universe from this infinitesimally small bit of matter? And they never seem to show any actual evidence of the universe expanding from some theorized central point. As far as I can see, the Big Bang has never been proven, it's never been tested, it's never been observed, yet it's proposed as settled science for years. And there are usual problems with the Big Bang theory, like the lack of evidence, no repeatability, no photos, no experiments, nothing. And then the few observations made about the expanding universe might literally have been a mistake with perspective. And when I say perspective, I mean they literally misjudged the distance of objects that they're looking at. And because of that misjudging, they incorrectly assumed that everything was expanding away when it really wasn't. A very simple example of this would be like you're in an art class and they tell you to focus on an object that's far away and put your thumb next to it. And you kind of adjust your eyes to make sure you're focusing on the thumb. And then you switch over to focusing on the object that's far away from you. If you do that a certain way, you can make them both look to you like they're at the same distance from you when they're really not. And that's what it looks like the scientists did mistakenly. They made the mistake of thinking that these galaxies or stars that seem like they're smaller or further away, they may not be further away, they're just smaller. Another example would be like or the statement of things in the mirror are closer than they appear. That looks like that's exactly what they did with looking at the universe. They made the mistake of thinking things were further away than they actually are. So there's no real proof that the universe is expanding at all. Therefore, there's no proof that there's actually been a Big Bang in the first place. As simple as that sounds, that was a big mistake they made. And if I said this already, I'll say it again. Note, for each one of these questions, I will tackle pretty much all of them later on individually in their own videos in the near future. So stay tuned for that. In conclusion, today's science of cosmology, geology, and many other sciences have unfortunately become far too hierarchical. They've become way too grounded in ideology. Today's scientists are floating outdated and incorrect ideas, and they are also pushing these ideas as fact, when more and more observations seem to be contradicting today's so-called settled science. As far as I'm concerned, we need to return to real science, as in utilizing the scientific method to learn about the reality around us. Until we have a revolution of our thinking, today's mainstream science is morphing more and more into a new religion, a religion of scientism, instead of the system of scientific inquiry, instead of the logical system of the scientific method. That's dying away, and things are becoming way too dogmatic as far as I can see. And that's not the road we want to go down as a species if we wish to learn more about the universe and our place in it. That's all for now. Please like, subscribe, share, and donate to support this channel. I'm going to have more stuff posted in the near future. Stay tuned for that. You have a nice day. I'm out. Peace.